Hi guys, to all my fellow actors or aspiring actors. I am finally sitting down and going to be talking about some different things about getting into the industry and things to know when you're first starting out. And I'm going to talk about some different things when you're getting into the industry. This video is going to be mainly focused on the terminology that is used on set. So different words, phrases, things to know when you're working on set for the first time or first couple of times. And this is just going to elevate you as an actor instead of being super green and not knowing any of the terms. When a director is telling you to do something, you will know and you will be prepared for it. The first term I want to talk about is going to be call sheet / call time. Usually when you are in communication with the director or the producer, they will be sending you information before you are on set. This usually includes your sides, your script, any information on wardrobe, as well as your call sheet. What this is basically a sheet that tells you when you need to be on set and if you need to be hair and makeup ready or come as is, whatever information you need getting onto set, this is going to be your holy grail. Going along with that, your call time is what time you need to be on set. There's going to be different call times for different people, especially if you have a big crew. But when you look for your name, it will have a call time, and that is when you need to be on set, prepped and ready to go. Once you are on set, the next term that I want to talk about is blocking. This basically is just like a rehearsal for what the action is going to be in a certain shot or a certain scene. Say your character is going over to the door and grabbing the handle and opening the door. Blocking is going to be where you and the director and all of the people on set are going to be working through the technicalities of that scene. The next term is mark. This is basically where your character needs to stand, or you need to stand as the actor. So in a certain scene, it'll be like, go to your mark. That means go to the spot that we've designated is where your character needs to be for the scene. Along with this, sometimes your character will have 2 spots or 3 spots or however many spots in a scene that they have to hit. So that will be known as your 1, your 2, your 3, and so on. Usually in blocking, your director will be like, okay, go to your 1. And that's your mark, that's where you're starting in the scene, and then, okay, go to your 2. That's where the second step of your character is going to be. So maybe you're starting 5 feet away from the door, that's your 1, then your 2 is at the door, and then your 3 is, 2 feet back from the door, whatever. That's really important to know so that you're not like, my 1, my 2, what is that? That is basically where your character is going to be throughout the sequence of the scene. The next term is cheat to camera. This is similar in theater, but it's basically where you want your face to be kind of in shot and in focus. So if there's a scene where you're talking to a person and they say cheat to camera a little bit, you'll kind of go like this. And you're still talking to the person, but your face is more in view. And that is just going to help make the shot look better, because if we can't see your face, we can't see the emotion. So yeah, cheat to camera means find a way to get your face a little more pointed towards camera. Along with that, strike the camera is look at the camera directly. Sometimes they'll do this within a scene and they want you to do the scene striking the camera, and sometimes they just want to do it for focus on your eyes. So if they say strike camera, you're going to look at the camera. And then along with this, your eye line is going to be where your character is looking. Sometimes you'll have someone that you're looking at in a scene and sometimes you won't, but you want to have your eye line pretty set. That will keep your eyes focused so that your character isn't like, yeah, well, we went over this way, whatever. That's too distracting. So usually your character will have an eye line, and sometimes they'll say, okay, strike camera. Okay, return to eye line. And you're going to look back at the point that you have so that, again, you're not looking all over the place. Rolling. Rolling means that the camera is recording. There's rolling and there's sound speed. That's going to be your audio is rolling for sound speed, and rolling is just going to be camera rolling. And then once the director says action, you're going to go. Those are the 3 big ones. Rolling, sounds, and then action, and cut is when you stop. This is super important. Try not to stop your scene until the director says cut. Sometimes they want you to have that moment of stillness or breathability after you're done with dialogue or done with the scene. So never ever stop acting until the director says cut. And sometimes they'll make you wait for 10 seconds. And you're like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? Just live in that moment, be in that moment until the director says cut, because you don't know, maybe they're capturing something that's vital, that's a transition to the next scene. But if you stop that and you get out of the scene, then you're gonna miss out on what it could be. So make sure you never get out of the scene before they say cut. Continuity. This doesn't pertain as much to actors, but I try to remember this kind of stuff. Continuity basically means when you have scenes in sequence, you have to make sure that every detail within the scene remains in sequence as well. If you have a scene where you're having a conversation and your hair's in the front and then in the other scene you have it back and it keeps switching back and forth, and I've seen this before in films, it's going to look wrong. It's going to look like they're clearly cutting the scenes back and forth. So I always try to remember as an actor, for my part, make sure that my physical appearance is going to be within the continuity of the scenes. And then as far as details going on in the back of the scene and whatnot, that is usually other people's jobs. But whatever I can do with my props and my physical appearance to keep the continuity going, I try my best to do that. And it's something I always recommend as well. From the top. That basically just means we're going to start the scene over from the very beginning. I've seen that a lot where people are like, wait, what do we do? Do we start at the beginning? If they say from the top, I always go back to my one and I get ready to do the entire scene, unless directed otherwise. This one I should have mentioned earlier with the call sheet, but principal/talent is you if you're an actor. And basically they'll say, is the talent on set? Get the talent back to the scene, whatever. And if they're saying like, where's talent needs to be ready, that's you need to listen to what they're saying. So that is what that means. And then the last term I want to say is that's a wrap. That just basically means that they're done with filming. If they say that's a wrap on so and so, that means that person is done filming for the day or done filming for, the entirety of the shoot. So yeah, that's important to know as well, because that's when everybody's done. And there's definitely more terms that I could go over, but these are some basic ones and just things that I wish I had learned. I think I had watched some YouTube videos before getting on set for the first time so that I was a little bit more in the know. But these are just things that will, again, make you seem a little bit more advanced instead of a super green actor where the director's telling you to do something and you don't know what it means. So keep these in your repertoire so that the next time you're on set or the first time you're on set, you know what to listen for and what to do when you hear it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Love you always.